can we please do a large iced vanilla coffee with light syrup? For sure.
Can I give you anything else?
A medium one of those as well, please.
Your total comes out at $7.25 the first one there.
Thank you.
Josh thought we were sharing. We're not sharing.
We're not sharing?
We're not sharing. No, we don't share coffee. We can share a lot of things, but coffee is not going to be one of them. Because you are a guzzle lips. And you guzzle it down before I have a chance to get to it. And then I get really upset because I want this coffee. And then you drink it before I can get enough to please my caffeine fiend.
All right.
My caffeine fiend.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it very much. Have a wonderful day.
You have a good day.
Are you happy now?
If I was any happier, they'd name me Joy.
Welcome back to week 6 here on the chase, and I've mulled back and forth how to build this week's video because a lot happened per se. We did multiple things, got out a few times, but just nothing happened. And so rather than bore you guys, I figured what I would do is just recap really quickly and then more or less tell you what we're going to do, because the main thing to talk about is this cold front that's rolling through Iowa right now. Today is October 13th, it's Sunday, and Joy and I are heading to the Big Bird farm to get the hay bale blind, pull a set, and we're gonna try to come up with a plan tonight. But before we do that, essentially how we kicked off the week, I went and had to come do something at Joy's, can't remember what it was, but I snuck out to the Big Bird farm and made a short walk because this drop tine deer has not been on camera since September 13th. And with Caleb finding all the EHD around, and frankly it's becoming more and more just widespread across the state, I figured it was worth a walk. There's a couple of different creeks that are easily accessible, and on that particular day I basically went into the crossing, went south, and I found one dead buck in the water and then one small one off it that by the time I found him my GoPro died. So fast forward to the next day, big front comes through. And when I say big front, it was just a good temperature change. It wasn't as big as what today's is, but myself and Evan went and made a move on the big deer farm, and it was a pretty slow hunt. We saw a few does. The main reason why we went was because they had cut the beans, and we thought they had cut the whole field, but when we got there, we quickly realized they only cut half the field. So we had good access, saw some deer, no big deer. And then the next night, I decided to just observe. The following morning, got a picture of the big deer on a new camera I put up, and he was in this spot I call Surprise Cove. Not exactly the photo I would have hoped to have gotten based on how close he was and smelling the camera and all that jazz, but it was the first time I'd gotten him in the morning. And so I figured where I was sitting, if he went to the bedroom I thought he did, I'd be able to see him. And ended up seeing 20-25 deer. Only had my phone with me, but we ended up seeing a lot of deer. And then it got dark and never did lay eyes on the buck. Well, 15 minutes after legal shooting on that particular day, he walked by the tree stands that we've been hunting. And it was a really welcome sight to see that he was using that south draw. And I'm pretty confident that what he was doing with that northwest wind tucks him out of the wind, and then he walked across the field with the wind in his face. So from there, ended up going back to the Big Bird farm with Rye because just again had the morning to do it, and ended up walking the rest of it. Did not find the drop tine where I expected to, and so the chances are he could be alive. I'd be very shocked if he is. I talked about it multiple times through those days of filming, but essentially the deer last year, socially wise, he was the one. He was doing all the scraping, he was doing everything. 6x5 was not. He had kind of left. I think the last photo I got was October 3rd. And so for me, even if the social hierarchy changed and 6x5 is just the dominant buck, I really feel like we would have had one photo of him in the last month, and that's literally where we're at. We're sitting at a full month without seeing the buck. So I don't know, we'll see. Hopefully a youth hunter shot him. You know, right around the last time I saw him was right before youth season. And yeah, so that's kind of what the week's been as far as getting out into the field. And I didn't feel like building a 25-minute video for you guys just to hear what I could summation right here. So the other thing that I had this week was just a lot of editing responsibilities. We did a fun podcast with Kurt Geyer from Working Class, produce Owen's chase video, this video, help with the main show. And, you know, sometimes during the week, I really have to make a good decision on whether or not to go hunting or whether or not to get work done. And I've been trying to get all my work done so that we can focus on what we're doing right now. As you can tell, we've kicked off our day, myself and Joy, with getting some coffee because I have enlisted her to film me tonight. And we are going, as I said, to the Big Bird farm. We're gonna go get the hay bale blind I sat in all last year, and we're gonna move it into this picked corn that's on the east side where I think 6x5 has spent some time. I don't know if he's bedding in there all the time. We very well might not be in the game, but we've got this major cold front coming through today, high pressure, cold winds. I think right now we're going to be sitting somewhere in like a 20 to 23 mile an hour northwest wind. And so that's where I wanted to walk you through my thought process. I've got the big deer and I've got 6x5. This high winds, based on what I've seen, subdues the movement on the big deer farm completely. You know, the deer will move after dark, but it's only until those winds will completely fall off. And so I figured, okay, Sunday night, the front's blowing through today. I have to pull into that field with the hay bale blind. We're gonna have great noise cover right now. We are going to set it up in a part of the field that doesn't, I don't think it puts us right in the game for a bow shot, but we really are blowing our wind into the best spot. It also might set up well if for some reason Joy decides to get an early muzztag. It's early muzzleloader right now, and we're very excited to see how tonight's hunt goes. And then that will lead me to tomorrow as the front continues to blow through and the winds are going to get a little less. That's when we're going to take our shot down on the big deer. I think that with what we've seen from him, the sporadic amount of time he spends there, that's going to be our best shot, is the day after the front. And frankly, both these bucks that we're hunting, it's kind of the same story as last year. We're in the game, but we're on the fringe, and the deer don't live on the properties. And so if you are following along week to week, I really do appreciate it, because I understand that this is fairly boring, and it's just kind of what the hunting is for me right now. And we're in the game on great bucks, and that's all you can ask for. So hopefully we got a better update for you guys this coming week. Like I said, we're gonna go get this blind out and position it for myself or Joy. And yeah, good luck if you're hunting this cold front. But that was my thought process of how I'm gonna handle it. And hopefully in the next few days, we can get a shot at one of these two deer. We can have a good one, because I got a good feeling about this, Joy. Only thing that's gonna be kind of wild is if he steps out, he's gonna be right there. This will be exciting. All right, so we just pulled into this field and jumped this blind off. We got really high winds, so these deer are gonna be bedded off the back side of this field. My mock scrape's right over the corner here. And it's a lot more level. That was the one thing looking at Onyx. There is a little of a topography change, but it's level enough to shoot. So it'll take some luck to get him in the bow range, but I think we can have an encounter here. And this wind should cover our noise profile well enough. How you feel? I feel good, bud. Appreciate you being here.
You couldn't do it without me.
I couldn't do it without you. You're right. All right, well, we just got this hay bale blind set up. As you can tell, it is extremely windy, as we just talked about. And what I need to check here is how far we are from that tree line. It's not perfect for a bow shot by any means, but it's doable if he works out in the field. We'll be in the game. So basically what I'm gonna pull up here, it's one of my favorite tools on the fly, but it's just pulling up the line tool. So from where I'm at to the edge of the field, looks like it's about 78 yards, which is got to be right on track. So We got freshly cut corn. We've got bedding toward the northwest wind coming, you know, pretty strong, and it's supposed to fall off towards dark. So I do think this is gonna be a great spot. I think we got in here without anything even knowing what was going on. And with that intel from the farmer to the landowner that he saw a big one, this is where I wanna be tonight. So Joy and I are gonna go home. I gotta finish up some work, and then we're gonna be back out here for this evening. And I know pretty much everybody on the team is gonna try to make it out tonight. So good luck to everybody. Hopefully this hay bale bind finally pays off. We sat this thing a lot. I never really saw a whole lot, but this by far is the best setup I feel like we've had, you know, sitting in it. So October 13th, we'll see if it's a magical day.